Shabbat Shalom from Jerusalem. We are here for a special report, Answers to Allies. With me is Danielle, Vice President of the Jewish Agency, and we are here in order to give you answers, to equip you, so that you can stand with the Jewish people, with us, with the people of Israel here during these difficult times. October the 7th changed our lives, and we thought we will never see those pictures that resemble the Holocaust. I thought we will never, ever see anything like this again. However, here we are, and we are so thankful for our friends who are praying with us, praying for us, standing with Israel in this day and hour. So Daniel, we are really in a very, very difficult, tragic, traumatic moment. We're praying for those who are kept as hostages in Gaza. We are praying for those who have lost their dear ones, and they have to process their traumas. How do we even pray for those people?
Thank you, Albert, for inviting me, first of all, and thank you for creating this platform to reach Israel's friends and allies around the world, because Israel truly needs its friends at this time. We truly need people that can stand up, that can tell the truth, that can support Israel, that can pray for Israel. And what's more appropriate to pray for Israel than on the day of Shabbat, and then the day that today in synagogues all around the world, they're restarting the reading of the 5 books of Moses. They are starting with the first chapter of Genesis, of Let There Be Light. And today on this time, it's important that our friends around the world know the truth, speak the truth, and that they can stand up for us here in Israel.
Thank you. We are really seeing the greatest challenge we've seen for the last 75 years, from the very beginning of the modern history of Israel. Never has it been so many people murdered in one day since the very beginning, and so of the modern Israel. And so we are actually reading in the Bible today, Let There Be Light. And can you imagine, there are people that are actually making aliyah at this time. They have not stopped in the process. There are many who are coming, despite the fact that we have come through this difficult time.
Yes, and it's a huge blessing, and it's a huge encouragement. You know, when we work with Olim all over the world, and this year, 2023, is still a very strong year for Aliyah, following up on 2022, which was the strongest year for Aliyah in the last 30 years. Over 74,000 Olim that came home to Israel. From
74,000?
To be exact, 74,915 that came from all over the world, from literally 50 countries.
So it's almost like 75,000 people for the 75th anniversary.
Yes, that's a very nice point, Albert, true. And so 2023 is yet again a very strong year for Aliyah. And what happened when this war began is that we were in the midst. You know, people are making Aliyah. They're coming into Israel on flights every day. Most Olim don't come on big chartered flights. They come on, you know, just regular airlines where we, the Jewish Agency, book tickets for them. And they come every single day. There's literally no day without Aliyah, maybe just Yom Kippur. And what we've seen that has happened is that many of the airlines have canceled their flights coming into Israel. And we have been receiving distraught calls by Olim that already arrived at the airport and don't know what to do. Right now, the airlines that are flying to Israel are mostly El Al and the Israeli airlines, and some also other foreign airlines. And I can tell you, Albert, that it's amazing and encouraging to see to what lengths people will go in order to come to Israel. They're finding all kinds of indirect flight routes. We are helping them in order for them to come through 2 or 3 different countries. Overall, I can say that approximately 70% of the Olim insist that they want to come now as planned. They don't want to delay. They don't want to postpone. They don't want to wait for the war to be over. They want to come now. Isn't that astonishing?
I think this shows their resolve and their decision to be part of the history of the Jewish people and the land of Israel. I think it is beautiful. I think this resolve shows that the war, the atrocities, the tragedy doesn't stop them. It is amazing. I'm really proud of our Olim.
It doesn't stop them because they believe that Israel is here to stay. They believe in the God of Israel, and they believe that it is now their destiny to be part of Israel. So when you're standing in front of fulfilling your destiny, what's going to stop you, Albert? Not even this kind of war. And I don't want in any way for people that are watching us to feel that I am belittling it or minimizing it. No, this is a complete watershed moment. This war, the atrocities, what has happened on Shabbat, the 7th of October, and the days that follow, will go down in infamy, if I can quote the famous words after Pearl Harbor. It is truly our darkest hour, if I want to quote also what Churchill said. It is a horrendous day, a watershed day that completely will separate Israel of before and Israel of after. We still don't know what this means. We know that there will be many questions, there will be many inquisitions and ways of looking at how did we be in this situation where we were so ill prepared to fend off this attack. And please also remember, we are fending off this attack. We have fended off this attack. But in the first few hours, we were ill prepared for it. And even with all this and all the understanding that it won't be the same Israel that it was, it is still Israel. And it is still the home of the Jewish people.
I would even say that we have witnessed a miracle that we didn't want to actually come in such a way. We've seen all of these demonstrations and disagreements about judicial reform, and the country has been so divided. There's something that has happened. From this last Saturday, we have seen the unity and the resolve we haven't seen for months, and I would even say a year. It's been very painful to see this division in the Israeli society, really ripping apart of the fabric of the society and the soul of the Israeli people. But yet this resolve and this unity that I see is something that is really miraculous. And as you mentioned earlier, Israel is forever. The Bible says very clearly, if you don't see the sun and if you don't see the moon and if the stars are not giving their light, then the people of Israel will cease to be a nation before God. And we are a nation under God, and we are a nation before God. And so I think even on this Shabbat, as we reflect on Yehi Or, let there be light, it is very important to think of these positive things. We've seen some very strong and very positive things. We've seen the nation united. We've seen a unity government rise, and we've seen our Olim standing firm in their decision to come to Israel. I think it's powerful. I think it is something very, very positive to take back.
Indeed. And I can also tell you that the last few days when I have been meeting with victims of terror to give them a warm embrace, to give them the urgent assistance that the Jewish Agency's Fund for Victims of Terror is giving at this time, I have met with nothing short than heroes, just modern day heroes. I met with the head of security, the civilian head of security for the Sderot community, that early on Shabbat morning, before the IDF understood what was happening and could come into their aid, he and his squad were on the streets of Sderot fighting off the terrorists in face-to-face combat. He personally rescued policemen that were shot and were in harm's way, and he did not leave the wounded behind, and he brought them back into safety. Wow. He is now wounded, laying in the Asaf HaRofeh hospital. He has shrapnel in his body. He has gunshot wounds in his shoulder. He sustained those gunshot wounds, and with that, he still took other policemen into safety with him. And many of our viewers perhaps have also watched this horrendous video of a family, a mother, father, their two adorable young daughters that got into a car on Shabbat. They were on their way to visit with their family. The terrorists came to the car and point blank murdered the parents. They did not get a chance to murder the children because they saw that they were being under attack. And so they ran, and those two little girls were in the car frightened with the bodies of their parents. Just a minute ago, they were talking about going to visit grandma. And as that was happening, that director of the squad, together with his brother-in-law, they rushed to the car and they pulled those girls out under fire and brought them to safety. I met with those two men, and really, what can you say when you're meeting with such people, with such bravery and such courage, And that is the courage of Israel. That is what unites those who are the guardians of Israel.
We have seen so many miracles, so many stories of heroism and resolve, people defending almost alone their communities and standing up, wounded, to protect those who were under the attack. I mean, we have seen so many miracles. I mean, we will see more. I think we're not talking about a sprint here. We're talking about a marathon. This is not going to be over in a week or two. I think we are looking into something much, much bigger because we actually know what is behind it. Iran, with its nuclear ambitions, has been funding and training and facilitating the terrorists in Gaza, in Lebanon. They have been coordinating it. They have been really celebrating their success, quote unquote success. And I think what we are facing is actually a nuclear ambitions of Iran. And this is something that the world needs to deal with. We're not talking about just skirmishes and attacks and tragedies of the Jewish people, and they're horrible. We're talking about a danger, I think death kind of threat to the whole world that the Iran will pose if they will, God forbid, become nuclear.
I couldn't agree more with you, Albert. The situation with Iran is really what prevents many of us from sleeping at night, and it's constantly on the minds of Israel's intelligence bodies and Israel's protection forces. And we know that this is something that the world needs to stand with Israel now. Iran, in an official sort of statement, they said that they did not actively support this attack, though of course they cannot deny that they have been actively supporting Hamas, training its terrorists for years, financing these different weapons that the Hamas terrorists used as they infiltrated Israel were coming directly from Iran. So they cannot even deny the fact that it is their resources that have enabled this attack. They are only trying to deny that they had direct involvement in that day. And they're trying to do this because they want to be able to continue with their nuclear plans. They want to be uninterfered by the countries of the world, but the world needs to step in. The world needs to stop Iran. And
as you mentioned earlier, Parashat Or, let there be light. It seems like the world is kind of, the political world is almost taking polarized positions. We see the light and we see the darkness. We see those who are for the destruction, and we see those who are for light. And we see really a strange alliance forming. I don't want to go into the politics, but I think we are facing something that is much, much bigger. And the people of Israel is actually almost like yes, we are the first ones, but at the same time, this is not ending with Israel. This has to do with the very destiny of the free world. And there's a threat for the free world's existence. So Israel is right now at the forefront of this battle.
Very true. And I think that the concept that it is never wrong to do the right thing, right? And that you should be always mindful of what is the right thing. What is your responsibility? People that are watching us, they might say, well, I'm not a politician, I'm not a leader, I'm not a person that has a community that I command. But every person has the ability to change the world, starting with their very own surroundings. Every person has the ability to speak the truth. Every person has the ability to pray. Every person has the way to educate others and to find ways to send in support. I can't tell you, Albert, how thankful I am for the many, many Christian friends all around the world that at this time have been sending their prayers, their financial support directly so that we can reach those victims of terror, so that we can be there to evacuate the Olim from harm's way, so that we can bring the new Olim here to Israel. We are opening 3 new programs just in the coming week. Are you aware? We are opening a program in Tel Aviv for young adult Olim. We're opening a program in Haifa for young adult academic olim, and we are opening a program in Carmiel in the north and in Nitzana in the south by the border with Egypt for young teenagers, children almost, the ages of 17 to 19, that are coming to Israel, mostly from the former Soviet Union. So these are the kinds of blessings that we are doing now in Israel, also thanks to the support that we get from philanthropists and from partners all around the world, including in the Christian world. And I would hope that we would be able to continue to do this and continue to be a force of light.
Well, I'm really proud of you, and I'm really proud of what the Jewish Agency is doing. It's really amazing. And I mean, the darkness is afraid of light. I mean, you light a candle and the darkness flees. And I think even during this weekend, if you will come out together with your community, with flags of Israel, stand on your town hall square, or whenever public place you want to go out and say a prayer for peace of Jerusalem, because God loves those who loves Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you. This is what the book of Psalms says about those who pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And I mean, even a simplest thing, to go out with the flag of Israel, or even a post, a Instagram picture of yourself with the flag of Israel. I stand with Israel. I think this kind of campaign you were mentioning yesterday, we should go on with this, especially as these days are now advancing, and we need your support. We need you to stand with Israel. We need your candle to repel the darkness that is surrounding us.
That is very true. And one of the children that I met this week, a new Ola child from Ethiopia, she was so afraid. She spent all of Shabbat and most of Sunday locked in the safe room with her family, just 5 kilometers away from Sderot, and she was sure that the terrorists would at some point come and break down their door and murder them all. It's somehow you don't even understand how children understand what they understand. You think that you're sheltering them. You think that you're not giving them all the information. But this little girl understood everything. And she almost cried when she told me, our guardian was killed. And I asked her, what do you mean your guardian was killed? Your security officer? Who are you speaking about? And she said, the person that was watching over us was killed. I said, who are you speaking about? And her friend told me, Ophir, the head of the regional council of Sha'ar HaNegev, who went out of his home early Shabbat morning with his personal gun, trying to reach the armory and to get a weapon to defend his family, to defend his community, and was murdered. These 2 little girls somehow understood that he, Ophir, the man that they saw every week almost of their lives since they made Aliyah, was murdered. And she was sure that her guardian, the person that was watching over them, was killed. And I told that little girl, Ophir died true, protecting you, but you have guardians. He made sure that you would have guardians. You have God, you have your parents, you have your community. And while we are extremely sad that Ophir died, and it's a tragedy, and his son is still missing. Ophir's son is still missing. They do not know what happened to him, if he was abducted, if he's lying dead somewhere. But what Ophir set out to do was to defend the people in his community, and in that mission he succeeded. He gave his life for that mission. So to tell those little girls and to tell the people that are watching us that we have guardians, and that they, each one of you watching us, can be a guardian for Israel. You can be those watchmen on the wall that neither sleep nor slumber, and that protect Israel. Please be that guardian. Once you know the truth, you have to bear the responsibility. You have to be there to protect, to tell the truth, to support, to love, to pray. And indeed, let there be light.
Thank you so much, Danielle, Vice President of the Jewish Agency, head of the Christian desk. We are so happy that you were with us, and we will see you tomorrow. We will see you again, and you will tune in Answers to Our Allies from the Friends of Zion Museum.